time, New South Wales 1-0 over Queensland.
I guess with losing comes the question, so yeah, I'd love the opportunity to come back and correct it.
An extraordinary bit of football by the 35-year-old Queensland captain who gets better by the year.
How good is he? A lot of the talking point after the game, Bill, was DCE, whether it's time's up. What's your thoughts on that?
Given our performance in game one, something needs to change. And whether that's personnel change or we just need to shift our mindset, I'm not sure yet.
And on behalf of the worst ever Queensland team, thank you very much.
I wouldn't drop Cherry Evans, I really wouldn't. I know the other kid, Didden, is close, and I know he came off the bench and looked great, so I think they need the experience.
You won't hear a negative word from me about Daly Cherry Evans, what he's given this jersey, and that'll be with all Queenslanders and with Daly for the rest of his life.
This is what we do it for, this moment here.
But we just feel that Tom Didden is the right person for the number 7 jersey right now.
Yes, it certainly has been a big week for Queensland as we head into State of Origin Game 2 at Perth Optus Stadium. Cam Smith joins us here on the panel. Cam, obviously one of the big talking points that we've spoken about all week, and probably in the lead-up as well, was DCE, Daly Cherry Evans being dropped. Do you see a period of time where he would ever make it back into the Queensland side? Say if something did happen, God forbid, to Tom Didden in Game 2?
I'm not sure, Danica. I actually haven't even thought about that scenario. Look, maybe if they ran out some options to fill that number 7 jersey. But I think Billy has made his intentions clear of where he sees that position moving forward and who he wants to play there, and that's Tommy Didden. He's gone for the younger man in this second game. Now, a lot of people have criticised the move, but, you know, Billy's in a tough position. He's in a tougher position than any other person that comments on the selections of the Queensland side. He's the head coach. At the end of the day, if this team fails in Game 2 and New South Wales wrap up the series, well, he's the man in charge and he's the one that falls on his own sword. So he's come up with a tough decision to leave out his skipper.
Cam, obviously moving forward, Tommy Didden, what excites you about him starting?
I just like the way he competes, Alana. Yeah, I think he brings an enthusiasm and a new energy to the footy side. You've seen that in Game 1 when he got on in the second half. It's actually, you know, there's been some comments around, you know, Tommy Didden and his lack of experience. He's actually played a fair few Origins now, and he has started. If you remember his debut match, going back a couple of years now, when Cameron Munster was ruled out late when he had COVID, he come out and played a tremendous game for Queensland. So, look, I know Billy, I know everyone inside that camp have complete faith in Tommy Didden. I think everyone knew this was going to be huge news, right? After the announcement that Daly Cherry Evans wasn't going to be in the footy side. But I guess a decision had to be made at some stage. And I think Billy, being in the position he's in, having lost that first game, he's really in a tough position. If he keeps Daly there and they go on to lose Game 2 as well, he'd be criticised for not going with someone new, I believe.
It's the biggest call of his coaching career, but
Yeah,
at one point he had to pull the trigger, and it was at a point where the series is on the line. So if you're going to pull it, you're going to have to pull it now while it is still alive.
Well, before it's too late. You make a great point, Danica. The series is still alive. That's the beauty of State of Origin. It's best of 3. You know, a lot of people are talking right now like Queensland are well and truly out of it. New South Wales were quite dominant in Game 1. Queensland were far from their best. They lacked discipline. They lacked a bit of connection. But I think the move by Billy goes beyond Game 1 in Brisbane and that loss. They've really struggled to score points. They really have. They've failed to score. What have they scored? 1 try in the last 2 matches? Is that right?
In the last
80 minutes?
Well, in the last 7 Origin games, they're averaging 19 points.
Yeah.
It's not a lot.
Yeah, well, especially, Alana, when you're playing against a side like New South Wales right now, with the calibre of player they have, you need to be scoring, 20 plus to give yourself an opportunity to win.
it also had a bit of a flow-on effect in other decisions as well that needed to be made. So obviously Cam Munster now comes in as skipper. We saw a new look Cam Munster as well. The mo's gone. He's had a wash of the hair.
Serious Cam Munster. This is strange.
Captain Cam, yeah. I reckon he shaved that off after Billy told him that he was going to be the captain. I got no doubt about it. I said it myself. I seen him on the news, with after the announcement. And I said to my wife and children, he shaved that mo off as soon as Billy told him he was going to be captain and look respectable. But I'm happy for Cam. I've played many seasons with him at the Melbourne Storm. I played 6 seasons with him, and to see the growth that he's had from a young guy, a teenager coming into first grade, playing fullback in his first 2 seasons with the Melbourne Storm. He actually covered for Billy Slater with he had back-to-back shoulder reconstructions in 15 and 16. To where he is now as a premiership player, state of origin player, international, and now Queensland's captain.
Well, you know him so well. He'll help Tom Didden too with his starting role in the 7 as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's a big stage, Alana. The series is on the line for Queensland, but Tommy Didden, he's been there and done it before. He is a young man, but he's also a leader as well. He's a co-captain of the Cowboys. He's played in a lot of big matches. He's played in this position before for Queensland, so he'll be up for it. He as I said, the best quality of Tommy Didden is he loves competing. He'll be right amongst it come Wednesday night.
And I think it's fair to say as well, start of the week, a lot of the focus was on Queensland with all the changes that were getting made. But now the focus is certainly on the Blues, because we've seen Brian To'o under an injury cloud. But the biggest news today, Jerome Luai brought into camp because Mitchell Moses has been ruled out with a calf injury.
Yeah, it's crazy, isn't it? Look, Mitch Moses, I think the best thing about this scenario for Blues and Blues fans is that they know that it's worked. They know that he just slots in there. Like the conversation about Mitch Moses, he got it first and foremost over Jerome, but it was only 6 months ago that they were playing alongside one another, Jerome Luai and Nathan Cleary. That's not something you forget. That's like getting back on a bike with the two of them joining one another again in the halves. So I think it'll work brilliantly. The fact that Mitch Moses is out is obviously devastating for Blues right across, but Jerome Luai, for me, he slots straight in and gets the job done.
Yeah, they know their games back to front, inside out, Luai and Cleary.
They've been playing together since teenagers.
Yeah, since they were young boys. You got to remember, Jerome Luai, he played in all 3 games last year in New South Wales winning series. He's an integral part of their win. And I believe, for game 1 this year, it was pretty close between himself and Mitch Moses. Mitch Moses got the nod. Did a pretty good job in game 1 as well. So, look, from a Queensland point of view, hearing the news today, Mitch Moses out, a little bit of disruption in the preparation, but, with Jerome Luai coming in, you sort of look at it and go, well, it's horses for, it's 50-50, really. There's no huge difference. I don't think it'll change too much to New South Wales' plan.
It's like they had a little break away from each other. Now they're back on. The team's back together.
There was a little bit of niggle last week.
There was a little bit of niggle.
Wasn't there?
How good was
They'll
that?
be best mates again.
They're going to have to make up there. Were you surprised, though? Matt Burtons, obviously in the extended squad, he's 18th man. If you were him, would you be a bit disappointed that you weren't looked at?
Yeah, well I think he was. I think I've seen some comments today from Laurie saying he was a little bit disappointed that he missed out because he was 18th man. But it makes sense. Jerome just comes in. He's already got the established combination with Nathan Cleary. I think the balance between those two is more suited to this game than what Matt Burton would have been if he come in. Matt Burton's coming out of a footy side that are on top of the ladder and they're playing well, and he's playing well as well. But I think Laurie spoke about too the versatility that he has as an 18th man. If they were to lose someone, he can play pretty much any position in the back line.
That's unfortunately probably the worst thing for Matty Burton.
Well, it's cost him the starting spot, yeah.
Exactly, and how many times over and over. But the other thing is, too, for Jerome, they only get 2 more sessions. So it's very quick. He's been in there. He knows how to play alongside a lot of those players. He knows that origin style. So it probably makes the most sense for him to slot in and, unfortunately, to have the versatility of Matty Burton as 18th man.
We'll talk about players knowing each other. What about tomorrow night, Friday night footy here on 9? Titans up against the Seagulls. Des Hasler and Kieran Foran up against their former side, Manly. This is going to be an exciting one.
Big game for both sides. Coming off a loss last week. Manly with that, a game that they should have won against Newcastle, and heavy loss for the Titans. They're not in a good spot at the moment, the Titans. They're not playing great footy. Beau Fermor comes back into the side. He misses out in that Queensland team.
But they lose their captain. They've
Tino.
No Tino.
And
no
Mo Fotuaika.
Fotuaika.
Yeah, so a couple of big outs for the Titans. Turbo's back.
Turbo's back.
Turbo's back, so big in for Manly. Oh, look, I think Manly bounced back. They were disappointing, very disappointing last week, particularly second half. Failed to finish the game against Newcastle. I think they'll have too much firepower against the Titans.
You've got to think so. You've got to think Cherry Evans wants to come out and have an absolute blinder as well.
Yep. All right. Well, all the action of that one right here on Irons Wide World of Sports from 7:30 tomorrow. It is time for the Ferggos Favorites. One of our favourite times of the night.
Yeah. Alrighty. So kicking it off with my 1 point. Look, I thought the back three for the Cronulla Sharks were unbelievable, but I actually went with Addin Fonua-Blake. He played just under 70 minutes, ran for over 195 metres, but off the back of his defence, he was huge through the middle, 47 tackles, and then I thought the outside backs were really able to benefit
Big effort
from him. Yeah, huge effort, and in every moment right throughout, even when they didn't have that momentum. My 2 points, I went with their 5'8", Braden Trindle. I thought he obviously scored 2 tries and set one up, but I just thought particularly after half-time, he came out and made a real statement. I thought he had a lot of control in his game. His kicking game was brilliant, but also just his intent and the style that he went. When he straightened up and he threw that ball to Nikora, that really set the tone in their attack, gave them a little bit more shape. So I gave him my 2 points, and then 3 points, bit of a no-brainer through the middle. Great to see Brayley. His running game, obviously, and Freddie highlighted it very early on after he just set up Trindle for his first try, was that I think last week he only ran for 30-odd metres, and he after setting Trindle up, he'd already run for more than that. But yeah, he played unbelievable. That was where they won and dominated, particularly as the game started to get away, was through the middle. Great ruck recognition. Setting up his players, bringing his forwards onto the ball, and also just back. He had that try disallowed as well. But yeah, great performance from Brayley.
Yeah, great performance from Blake Brayley. And tonight he's our Kia Player of the Match. So let's hear from him now. He's standing by with them.
And with our Kia Player of the Match, Blake Brayley. Blake, congratulations on being Player of the Match and also the victory. How good does this feel?
Yeah, it feels great. It's been a couple of weeks now since we've come over the 2 points and come back home. We're going to put on a show, and Britain's won 50th. There's no better way than hopefully get the 2 points, and I'm just proud to be winning tonight.
You must have been happy personally with your running game tonight, setting up that try, and particularly after the last couple of weeks, we could see a real difference.
Yeah, definitely. We know the game's a lot better when you're running instead of just tackling. So it was a great time tonight, and I'm just glad we won tonight.
What was the difference in that second half?
It was just our defence. We backed our defence there, and I thought we did a good job holding them out of the try line, and obviously scored a few points there towards the end, but it was off the back of our defence.
I'll let you go and join everyone. Well done.
Thank you.